In the next edition of It's About Money, my guests will be Terry and Kelvin Connor, and we've invited them to talk to you about their experience with something that they're passionate about. So stay tuned for It's About Money. Hello and welcome to another edition of It's About Money. I'm Nannette Nocon and thank you for joining us. I'm delighted to have our guests today, Teresa and Kelvin Connor. Terry and Kelvin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So we have this wonderful topic, and the reason why I invited you is about saving money for something you're passionate about. And I also want you to share with us your passionate experience, the situation we're in, the trauma, and how things change so beautifully. So first, I know that you're Disney fans, and that's what you save money for, is Disney. So first tell me, how do you discipline yourselves to save for Disney? I mean, is that like a routine thing that you do, okay, this is for the Disney fund, or you just carve out a portion of your income and goes for Disney? So tell me about that.
It's done multiple ways.
Okay.
In general, we take money aside every pay period and we put it into a separate account. So, and it's not a lot, but it takes a very big chunk out of the cost of Disney because it can be very expensive. Some of the other ways we've been a benefit of going to Disney is a Disney Vacation Club member. 3 times they've given us week trips down there.
I see.
So it reduces now it's just airfare and cost.
I see.
And when we go to California, I have a dear friend who allows us to stay with his family. So it reduces the cost there. So it becomes more of the admission cost to the parks. So it's a little more affordable, but we are very regimented on saving every pay period. And it's not a couple of dollars, but it's a substantial amount of money.
Sure, and you're passionate enough about it that that's so important for you to do. So how long have you been going to Disney? Since what year? When was the first trip that you took to Disney?
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Oh, okay, all right.
In my mind, I've only been there for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, we went on our honeymoon in 1988. So we've been going not every year. In the beginning, when we had children, we didn't go every year. But for the last probably 15 years, we've gone every year around our anniversary, kind of to celebrate our anniversary.
How nice is that? So then in the times where budget was a little bit leaner because you're raising children, you didn't make that a priority, but later on as the children have grown, that's something that you go back to.
Yeah, we went in 11 years ago. We took a very big trip with all 3 of we have 3 boys, and we took all 3 of them with us, and we stayed at the Yacht and Beach Club, which is the upper end towards the Disney resorts. So
You have to save big time for that.
so that was like tax refund, bonus money,
All
everything to
right,
make that happen.
Well, okay, but you made it happen, and
Well,
what a nice experience.
Yeah, and they still talk about it. They always go, "Dad, when we go back, we got to go to the Yacht and Beach Club." I go, "I can't afford that anymore."
Yeah, that's great. So that, I see that you like Disney and it's memorable because of the honeymoon, but then something had happened or something was happening. And tell me about that, because I think that's such a compelling story.
well, it's kind of a sad but yet happy story, I would say. I don't know all of it, to be honest with you. We had gone, he prepared a great anniversary gift for our 25th anniversary. And we went, but there was a few things I had to get, how to get there. Not how to get there, but how to get going. That was our preparing stage. We had a son who got married. We had other things that came up, but we finally got there. Of course, you always are excited for every moment of everything in your life. And while we were down there, we were in Florida, I guess I woke up, which usually you do, and the next morning, and he told me that I was like not talking, didn't know who he was, didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't talk. I couldn't say anything to him. I couldn't even, I was scared of him, is what he told me. And now I'm going to let him kind of tell you the rest of it because I don't know any more than that.
Yeah, so it was 2 days before our 25th anniversary, and my wife wakes up and it's like she doesn't, and we joke around a lot, right? We have a good time in life, and I thought she was just joking me, like, who are you and where am I? And it was apparent very early that her voice tone was much like a very infant, not very pronounced words and garbled. And at the time, my wife was on about 20 medications.
Actually, excuse me, it was more than that.
Well,
Just
about.
let him know.
So I thought, well, maybe the medications and the heat maybe had some issues. So I called the doctor up, the primary doctor we were dealing with, and I go, something's not right here. You think the medications could have interacted with my wife? And he goes, well, is there any paralysis? Like he thought maybe a stroke or something like that. So my wife didn't have paralysis. There's no, droopy, the common symptoms of a stroke, and there was none of that. And he says, just stay there, enjoy the rest of your time. When you come back, we'll have a look. Well, through the whole trip, it scared me because I didn't know what to do. And now I got to go, now I'm thinking when I go through the TSA, if they ask, what's your name? My wife won't even know her name. So it's very, very scary time. And she'd always, she'd see little kids in strollers. She goes, do I have any of them? And of course I knew we did, right? But she didn't know who they were either. So it was very stressful. So I called the boys up and said, Mom, something happened to Mom. Kind of be nice.
Well, the whole time we were there, there was this little tiny thing here. It's called, this is Ariel. And he told me that I carried it the whole entire time that we were there. I didn't remember doing that. And I cherish this now. It's a part of my life. It's part of our lives. And he said that we actually had a picture taken with Ariel. And I don't remember that. I don't understand it. I didn't comprehend it. And I was like, when I came out of the memory loss or stroke or whatever it is, they haven't been able to tell exactly what it was. They, because I have some other things that are that they're not allowed to do certain tasks. They just can't. And when I look at the pictures and I say, okay, who's that person? He's like, what do you mean? It's you. Look at this thing in your hand. Well, I couldn't put the two and two together.
You couldn't recognize yourself. In other words.
Exactly. So and I kept telling him, no, that's not me. No, that's not anything. I don't get it. And he just kept pursuing that it was me and that this was Ariel. Well, finally I got the two and two put together. And, but the hard part was knowing after I came out, getting my memory back, was that I don't have it all back.
So when did you get your memory back? Was it right there when you were there, or you came
No.
home? And so tell me, so from there you flew back to Rochester. You cleared through TSA, obviously.
That's what he said.
Yeah, we saw the doctor, and he really had no explanation for it. And then we had some in-home care because my wife really couldn't take care of herself, and I was at work. So we had some aides come to the house to bathe my wife and the baby. I'll say babysit, but it's really adult care at that point. Sure. So that lasted for about 9 months. And then it was all of a sudden, my wife calls me up one day and says, I'll pick you up I take the bus to work. She goes, I'll pick you up at the bus stop tonight. And I'm thinking, holy moly. I go, I'm not sure she even knows how to get there, no less drive a car there.
And the funny thing is I don't remember calling him and telling him that.
But did you get to the bus station? Bus stop.
Yeah, I got to the
So you did.
Yeah, I got to the bus stop, and then I'm thinking to myself, do I want my wife behind the wheel?
Yeah, maybe we could stay clear of that.
We got home, and it was like, again, something happened. It was like, and she called me, and that morning she goes, my head hurts, right? And it's like, and I'm thinking, this has got to be the big one, because she mentioned that when we were in Florida, too, that her head was bothering her, more than normal. She does have migraine things, but it was like a severe thing that got her into it, and then another severe one that got her out of the stroke. But it was day and night.
So like a switch. That's
almost
from that
like
day
a switch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty interesting. So she picked you up, but you don't remember calling him. And
No.
Okay.
And
And
I also
then,
picked up a good-looking guy.
yeah, that's good. And you recognize that he's your husband?
No,
No,
not technically. No.
Okay, okay. But that was something that you had to do. You
Yes.
pick him up. Okay, got it.
Correct.
It was an auto call.
Autopilot, is that what they call it?
Okay.
I guess, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
right,
have no
right,
clue.
right. So then what happened then? And did you back to normal? You got your wife back, if you will?
Well, kind of. I mean, basically, she knows, like, since she come out till now, like 2 weeks before our 25th anniversary, our oldest son got married. She doesn't remember the wedding at all. So it's like, during that whole time, from there back in time, she really has no recollection of things. And that's why we always joke, people, how long were you married? I know, it's been almost 28 years, and she'll say, 2 or 3, because that's what she remembers.
Sure.
I see. Wow, that's amazing. So then also physically, health-wise, there's some things, major shifts. You had mentioned earlier about the number of medications, whatever the number, it was outrageous.
Correct.
So then what happened? I mean,
Well, I was over 325 pounds.
325 pounds.
Yes, over that. And when I finally decided to look at myself in the mirror, I didn't know who I was. And I was like, oh, jelly donuts. Who are you again? And I kept looking at that person, and I'm like, there's something wrong here. And he would have my medication out every day for me. And I looked at that medication, and I went, I don't know what this stuff is. Why do I take this? Because in my mind, I'm a child. I'm a child still, in my mind. Here you see a grown-up person, and yet in my mind, inside of me, I'm this little child, and I'm looking, I'm going, that's not what you're supposed to look like when you're a child. I don't know if that's what kind of flipped inside of me, where all of a sudden, I wasn't eating. I mean, I was eating, but not normal, like what he would say. He has a silly picture of me where he teases me all the time about it, that I have this great big huge cookie at Disney. And it's a chocolate chip cookie with a filling inside. And I'm leaning over with this thing going into my mouth. I don't remember that. So he took me back, a little over a year ago, to Disney World again. And he showed this to me, and I went, holy jelly donuts, there's no way I ate that thing. He got one for us to try to eat. I ate maybe this much, but the thing was, I think what happened was I kept noticing that my weight was going down. And I kept saying, Lord, what is it that you want? Where am I supposed to be? I don't understand this. I don't know who I am. Just make me the person that I need to be. And then I had a friend who challenged me to go for a goal. What's a goal? She had to explain to me what a goal was. That in life we all have goals, no matter what it is. You always have a goal. I said, is that a goal to grow up? And she's like, yeah, it can be. Or it can be a goal in your life, personal life, of how you want to look. And I was like, oh, okay. And so from then, I decided to reach that first goal. And that was to lose 100 pounds.
I see. Wow.
And then once I hit that, she challenged me again. What, jelly donuts, what is your problem, lady, is what I thought. And she's like, go for it. Just go for it. You can do it. And I'm like, okay. I came out of this memory loss stroke situation. I lost 100 pounds. I've been able to go back to Disney. I don't remember yet a whole lot of it, but I can try for 200 pounds. So I set off to do that. I hit it.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank
That's a
you.
remarkable
Thank you.
accomplishment.
But of course, you gain a little here, you lose a little, you gain a little, but it's okay. It's all good. And so with God's help and friends of ours, and the support has been so awesome, that there have been so many people that have just kind of helped us. Encouraging words is what it's been. And I, like this year, for instance, when I hit my 200 pounds, I was kind of devastated, because I didn't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. And he's like, you silly girl, It is a very good thing. And I go, but are you going to love me for who I am now? And he looked at me and he goes, yeah, I will. I will still love you. And I'm like, I'm learning how to love him still. So it's been kind of fun.
That's great.
And one of our favorite things was to do is he challenged me too.
Great. And we'll hear about the challenge in a little bit. We'll take a
Okay.
quick break.
All right.
And my guests are Terry and Kelvin Connor, and we're talking about their experience, which is quite remarkable. And we'll be right back. I'm Nannette Nocon.
Hart, what's going on?
I'm leaving.
Why? What did I do?
Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit.
Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please,
Don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
And we're back. I'm Nannette Nocon, and my guests are Terry and Kelvin Connor, and we're talking about their remarkable experience together. So we had the first part of our show talking about this goal of you losing 200 pounds, 100, 200 pounds, and wanting to know how you could learn to love your husband, Kelvin. So let's actually talk about that. So how did you learn how to do it? Because you're a different person in a way.
Well, I've had tremendous help from our pastor at our church and also a very sweet lady in our church. She has really helped me to learn how to do a lot of this stuff, like little tiny simple things of telling him that I love him. Okay, I can tell him all the time, I love you, but it's meaning it right here. And also getting to know him, like, oh, and he's going to get to know me, haha. It's how I like to look at things because I like to have a lot of fun. I don't know what happened when I had my memory loss. I don't remember everything in back however many years ago. I don't even remember my children. My 3 wonderful little boys. They're not little anymore.
But so in this process, it's just a matter of doing it step by step, just kind of living it, saying it, and then feeling it.
Correct.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
And
That's
going on and doing things together.
Yeah, right.
Hand in hand, and maybe not hand in hand. It might be, I might text him and say, hey, how's your day going? He'll say, oh, whatever. It might be bad, might be good. Okay, have a jolly day. Like Mary Poppins.
That's great. Has her personality changed in that time?
It has. She's a more caring person, more outgoing person, because before she's kind of by herself, kind of like
A loner, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And now she's more I don't know, giving isn't the right word, but more giving of herself towards me, our family, and then others people too.
Wow, that's remarkable. All good things. So I want to talk about these figurines you have. This is part of your collection, because that's part of how you sort of raise money, right? We love the collection, but you make money doing it, right? Can we talk about that? Because this little figure you told me is a few $100s, right?
This one here, what they come in, this is Park Series 1, so this started probably, 7, 8, 9 years ago, and they're blind, you don't know which one you're getting in a box, and they come in a case of 24, and there's 2 of every one, but there's only 1 of this one in each case, so everyone wants they call it the chaser.
I
right?
see, okay.
So if you get the chaser in all the different series, that's where lots of the money is.
I see.
And so what you can do is you'd buy special ones, then you wait for them to go up, and you either trade to get ones you didn't have,
I see.
or you would trade them and get cash for them.
I see.
And they have other special ones. The one we made a lot of trading money on a Cinderella one. It was a Cinderella Castle one. It was a special. And my son it came out the day we happened to be down there one year, and my son says, Dad, if you can find one, get one. And we found one, but it was in a case, in like a polyglass case, like a display case. And I go, well, I'd like that one. I go, you can't have that one. I go, well, that's the one I want. They go, you can't have that one. So then the whole week, because we usually stay between a week and 10 days, we're looking for this crazy one that came out. We couldn't find it. Our last day, we're walking down Main Street, and in the big gift shop in Disney World, there they are. They're in a basket. I go, wow, what a bonanza. I bought 2, my wife bought 2, so I kept one, and we sold the other 3. And the people at the time, these are about, it depends on the cost, but usually around, at most, 15 for some special ones.
$15.
$15. But these ones, these special ones, when you get them, they can go up to, well, multiple hundreds.
Okay, got it. Could go up to 1,000, possibly.
They have this series, this whole series, if you got all 12 with the cards, at one time, it was $3,200
Oh my gosh.
for 12 figurines.
Oh my God, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
So you really have to kind of enjoy doing it and then hit the jackpot, but have a plan too on which one you.
Yeah, and they come out with
collect.
multiple series, like, this is the Mermaid series, this is Park 1.
I see.
And now, because, I can't collect them all because they come out so fast,
Sure.
I pick, the series that I like. If I like them, like all the Park ones, I'll always buy the Park series. And the other ones, I tend not to. But then the other thing I do with these is sometimes if I really have a series that I want, and it's hard to get the chaser, because you go and you draw one out, your odds are 1 in 24, right? So it's not very good.
Right.
So what I would do is I'll buy a case. So now I'm guaranteed of getting the chaser.
This one, yeah.
So then the extra 12 you sell, and when you get the money for those, it doesn't pay for the entire case, but it pays for probably 3/4 of the case. So it actually lowers your cost per
I see.
per
Got it.
figurine.
And you're sure to have it.
And I'm sure to have the chaser, and that makes everyone happy.
So you've been collecting for a long time, right?
Oh yeah, my youngest son and I, we started when we went, it had to be, I'm going to say, probably 11 years ago.
I see. Okay. And you study them and know what kind of series, and then you
Yeah.
make a collection. So I've never had a collector at the show before, so this is kind of an interesting thing. So you just kind of speculate in a way, but then how do you manage the finances for that? Do you kind of like say, okay, I'm going to spend only so much, or do you kind of go nuts with it? I mean,
Oh, it's it's very funny how we do it. I'm not supposed to have desserts.
okay.
Right, because it got a lot of sugar. So a lot of times when we eat, I'll buy 2 of these, right, and that'll be our dessert. Instead of getting like a cheesecake or
I
whatever, a
see.
cookie
No,
or
wait a minute. Sometimes we do have a little tiny treat.
so this is really our dessert on meals.
I see.
And then
Okay.
we open them there, and then and it's funny because we set them on the table with us when we're dining,
Right.
and the waitress and always, they get a good joke out of it.
Oh, that's cool. That's great.
And the disadvantage is, sometimes, when you do that, when you're drawing, you get the same one. Like, you can get whatever. Say these are both the same one. So lately what we've been doing is we look for special needs children in the park. And if we see one, we'll just give them our extra one.
Oh, how sweet.
Just it cheers them up, and it really helps us out to focus more that there's more about life than a $15 piece of plastic, I'll say, right?
Sure. Oh, that's
He had
beautiful.
mentioned that to me last night, and I kind of started to cry because it helped me remember of where I was and everything he could do possibly to help me out. And he, when we were talking about it, it's like that is my goal, is to help and give to other people, and it doesn't matter every little tiny bit. If it's a little tiny toy for a special child that can help to, cheer up their day, that's important, not just to me, but to both of us.
Oh, wow, that's remarkable. That's great. What a wonderful thing that you do with it. So do you have a room full of your collections or a house full of your collection?
Kind of both.
Oh, both. Okay. You better insure their collection there.
Yeah, years ago, my uncle, I listened to a lot of cassette tapes, and he built a cassette tape unit. It's probably 6 foot tall and I'm going to say 3 foot wide, very narrow. But after the cassettes are pretty much history now, so I pulled 2 of the shelves off, so then I had enough space so I could set rows of these. I could get 14 of these across down a row.
Get that scienced out. Yes.
And then there's multiple rows in this thing.
Yes.
And then for sure I filled that one up, and then I had them laying around. Teresa would say, you ought to build something. So then I built another thing for our family room, and I got another rack which probably holds another like 150 of them there.
Oh my
and then I still had some laying around, and my wife, so this last spring my wife says, this is going to be our Disney room now, so why don't you get something and put up the rest. So I got some oak boarding, I put it up around the edge of the ceiling, and I put I don't know, there's probably another 150 of them up there.
Oh my goodness, you really have quite a lot. Do you remember? Do you catalog them? I mean, how do you?
No,
what you
I don't catalog them. Right now, when I start a series, like the Christmas Carol series, that's when I don't got them all. And my wife, she's the luckiest person on the face of the world. She can pull out that chaser out of almost every time she goes in, she'll pull a chaser out. I don't know how she does it, but she's got a knack for the chaser.
Wow.
So we got the chaser for that series, but there's a few of the other ones we don't. So usually I'll go out to eBay and I'll say, okay, I know it's more than $15, but it's like, okay, I'll get it.
I see. That's great. So really, the whole thing is about Disney, your honeymoon, and then coming back to traveling to Disney again with the big one with the family, and then this tradition, and then it's about collecting the figurines in the series, and then finding the chaser. And then the big news is finding the chaser that with the incident that happened to you medically, and how that was kind of neat, that it's almost like lifting a chaser out of your life and then having it the winner. I think that's phenomenal. That's great. I wanted to invite you guys because a couple reasons. First, a lot of people want to take trips, right? Disney, and is among the favorites, especially if they're young people. So just wanted to hear how you save for that and how you continue to save for it, right? You continue to do payroll deduction, like you said, just build the money for that and then be able to travel to Disney in an inexpensive way, staying with friends in California, and then being part of a club that can give you some discounts.
Yeah. And I don't run anymore. I used to run, but now I run. So Disney has some very nice races. So I asked her, would you like to do a 5K? And she goes, well, how much is it going to cost? I go, I'm going to take money off the table. Do you want to do it? And then she said yes. So I signed her up immediately because usually the sign-up window for a lot of these Disney races is like within an hour they sell out. So I signed her up, and then I got home that night, and she goes, you know how far a 5K is?
I didn't know because of what happened to me, and I had never walked from the top of my driveway to the bottom of my driveway.
Oh, wow.
Because of a lot of medical issues and just not being able to do things. But when he told me how far it was, I looked at him and said, you're jelly donut crazy. That's what I said to him. And he's like, you can do it. I had just had surgery. And then in March, I had a surprise surgery. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to do it. He goes, yes, you are. And guess what? We went. I did it. I am very, very happy. And I know that there's one person in this room that is very, very happy, and that's him. Because he kept telling me the whole time, you can do it. When I finished, he was at the finish line. They're waiting for me. And there was a guard there. And because you have to kind of ask, because they have a fence up kind of like where people are waiting for you. And I said, please, can I go see him? And he's like, what? And I looked at him and said, please, I just walked my very first 5K. I need to see that man right there. And he goes, oh, go for it then, with a big smile on his face. And he was like, his hands were waiting for me. And if I could have jumped over that rail, I would have done it. Because I knew he was there, because each spot that I could find him, because he told me to stay on a certain side, and I said, me? You want me to do something like that? And he's like, yeah, you can do it. I would see him, and he'd say, go, you can do this, you can do this. And there was a time at one point I didn't think I was going to.
But you did it.
And I did it. And he was there at the end to congratulate me, and I was able to get this wonderful little person. And we tease about it because
Get your 5K. Yes.
I've got my 5K, but mine was kind of, it's like a rubber type of thing. And at first I thought, oh, this is really cool. I like this. I won't break it. And then he showed me his, and I went, okay, I want to know how to get to this part. We're going to do a 10K together.
Nice.
If all goes well, I should be able to do it. And we're going to do it together, hand in hand, when we go across that finish line, and I can't wait.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
best wishes to both of you. I thank you for being a guest at our show, and we thank our audience for being with us. I'm Nannette Nocon. Until next time, I thank Terry and Kelvin Connor. Thank you.
Thank you.